Good evening, America. Hello, Chicago. And what's up, West Side? This is P. Ray of Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self esteem. You could have been doing anything on this Sunday afternoon, and you chose to come hang out with me today at Black Excellence Hour. And as always, I appreciate the company. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Sunday afternoon. If you are watching live on the Black Excellence Hour's Facebook page, or on the Intellectual Radio YouTube page. Be sure to share the live, share the live. Today we are talking about the budget. Lord, somebody should slap a turban on my head and call me Miss Cleo because, see, I told y'all this was going to happen. I told y'all that all of these things that are currently going down, we're going to go down just like this because, as we know, the migrants are coming up here and they don't have any money. They don't have any resources. They don't have anything. And so what that looks like is that they get their expenses paid through the Chicago taxpayers. If you have not caught on, the city of Chicago is currently almost 1 billion, actually $982 million in the hole for an overall budget. And for current year to date, we are looking at a deficit of 235 million US dollars. That's a lot of money, people. That's a whole lot of money. Now, it's really important to realize that the city of Chicago has spent $400 million on the migrants last year, which means that if the city of Chicago would not have spent the money on them, not only would we have more money, but the city year to date budget would not be overdrawn by $235 million. We would actually be $165 million in the red. So we're going to get to all of that today as we normally do. But first things first, we got to get a dose of self-esteem from the greatest president to ever do it, ever. I know a lot of people be like, P-Ray, you just want to kiss up to Donald Trump. You dang on right. It's only one president that puts Americans first. And I, friends, I am an 8th generation American, so I care all about people who put my people first, and that is Mr. Donald John Trump Sr. Roll tape.
African Americans built this nation. You built this nation. You know, you're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to get, you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense? Right? But through generations of blood, sweat, and tears, and you deserve a government that defends your interests, protects your families, and cares for our own citizens first. My administration is fighting with everyone and all our heart to reverse the pain inflicted by Democrat leaders and to deliver hope and opportunity and prosperity for all Americans, but for African American communities all throughout our land. Our agenda is lifting up citizens of every background, race, religion, color, and creed. But while we are fighting every day to build up our nation, the far left only wants to wreck, ruin, and destroy our nation.
All right. Again, that was Donald J. Trump Sr., soon to be president number 47. If you don't know, the majority of people under the age of 50 are not with her. They are actually voting for Donald Trump. This is not a game. I was at the Danny Davis West Side Back to School picnic and parade yesterday. Shout out to the congressman. And Chicago Red, we were there doing voter registration. So I'm walking around, I'm putting my palm cards in people's hands. I got the people, my team under the tent, and we're having a good time. This lady comes up to me and she like, "You P. Ray." And I say, "Yes, ma'am, I am." "Oh, well, I just want to let you know they be talking about you." I said, ma'am, I don't care what those imbeciles have to say about me. She said, what? Well, they said that your daddy would be rolling over in his grave if he knew what you was doing. Now, at that point, y'all, I wanted to cuss her old ass out, okay? P. Ray was so angry. Not angry, but frustrated. Frustrated, that's a better word. Frustrated and offended because she can't anger me. Because I'm like, how dare you put my daddy name in your mouth? However, I didn't say anything to her. Instead, she was sitting there with her daughter, and I told her daughter, "Ma'am, please get your mama out of my face. You know, I don't want to go there with your mama. So please, just y'all move on." And she's like, "Okay, come on, mama, let's go." So even that woman knew that her mother was wrong. So I say all that to say, don't argue with the elders, even though they don't know any better. But when I was out there in the park, I also met a whole bunch of young people who are my age, fellow 80s and 90s babies. And so I was asking them about, who they would vote for, because when you're doing voter registration, you can't do campaigning at the same time. So you have to be very careful about what you say. And they were like, well, we don't know who we're going to vote for. They're talking about this lady Kamala, but we don't know if we're going to vote for Kamala. We don't know how we want to make this rock. And I said, okay, no problem. Well, think about the person who wants to put you first. Ain't you an American? And they were like, yeah, we Americans. I say, so you need to go with the government that's going to put the Americans first. And they said, I'm with you when you're right. I'm with you when you right. You right, girl. We got to go with the people who like American people. So just know that, again, the streets are voting for Trump. I don't know what other people are talking about. Don't believe these polls. Remember, we do not need everybody to come out and vote for the president. We do not need that at all. We actually only need 30% of Cook County in order to make this happen. And I believe in my heart this is happening in real time, especially after you learn what other people are going through today. We're going to talk about the Chicago budget, but we're also going to talk about Aurora, Colorado. Aurora, Colorado is being terrorized by the Venezuelans and their gangs at this very moment. So we're going to hear from some of their council members. And then we are going to, again, get back to the budget. But first things first, I want to play a gentleman named Terry Anderson. This video he did an interview with C-SPAN in the 1990s. And this is what he said about what they were going through in LA. I want you to listen to this and see how familiar this sounds to us Chicagoans. Roll tape.
Refuse to address the problem. My own congressman refuses to address the problem. And I think the problem is black folks see all minorities as allies. And this is not the case. These people are not here for our common good. They're here for their own good. Where I don't have any ill will towards anybody, I also want to look out for my race. I'm a black American. I've never used a hyphen. But I will refuse to turn my back on my race and see what's going on in South Central to my people and let these people come in here and just take over. I'm not going to sit back and watch it. And I think it's a terrible thing, a horrendous thing for anybody to see this going on and say, well, he's a minority like me, so I won't speak up. I don't care where he comes from. The key to this whole thing is stop the denial, stop the alliances of, in other words, he's a minority like me, so I can't speak up against him. If this was white folks committing these lynchings to us in South Central, what's going on, there would be an outrage in this country. We have had firebombs thrown through windows. We have had people's cars burned in the driveway because they happened to move into the wrong communities. We had a lady who moved to East LA, came to the state from the South, not knowing what East LA was. It was an all-Hispanic community. She wasn't there one day. We had another man who was burned out of his house in Torrance last year. We had 5 murders in Hawaiian Gardens just because the people were black. This would not be tolerated if this was white on black crime. But the fact that these people come here, and it's the numbers, sir, it's the numbers. They come here in the numbers, they build up the Hispanic community, and they get this sense of power against us. And there are race riots in the schools every day in Los Angeles. It never makes the media. The black kids are being run out of the schools every day and told to go back to Africa. It never makes the media. We are having people who are being discriminated against on every avenue of society. Economic, schools, even in our prisons now. They have drawn lines, and our prisoners in California are being beat and harassed and raped by Hispanic gang members who recently arrived here because of the numbers. My answer to you, sir, would be we don't need any new laws. enforce the ones we got. If
All right. So again, that was Terry Anderson, an American Negro man speaking to Congress in the 90s, telling them about what was going on in LA. Now, it's also very important to remember that at this time when this gentleman spoke, the black population of LA was around 27%. Now, friends, it's less than 10%. So, what he was talking about had lots of credence, lots of value. But again, as I always say, race is dead. Race is dead. We are going with ethnicity, and we are fighting for the American Negro. Because since we have been black, we got all these random people out here saying that they're black. They're not really black, but yet they are taking the social and political capital of our people. And we are able to point these people out because they say and do things that do not culturally align with us, such as our current vice president. She did a video. She went down to Savannah, Georgia earlier this week, and she did a video, or she was doing a speaking engagement. And they asked her about these greens that she keeps on talking about. So first she washed them in the bathtub, but I want y'all to listen to Kamala Harris's greens recipe. And I want you to tell me if you eating your greens like this. Roll tape.
I have a friend who had a Christmas party, Christmas Eve every year, and she asked me to make the greens for a party every year. And I am not lying to you that I would make so many greens that I'd need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling you the truth.
So how do you make your greens? Do you put turkey in them? Do you
Bacon.
Put nice. My grandma
I do
used to put
bacon.
She puts
Garlic.
vinegar.
I put white vinegar.
Yeah.
I do. So I start with, I slice up my garlic.
Uh-huh.
But no, first I chop up the bacon
fry it.
and get all that fat going. Then I put garlic,
Yeah.
some chili peppers,
Yes.
and then a lot of water and a little chicken stock, and I let it go for a while
Flowers.
before I put the greens in. And then, right, so you get that going and all that flavor, and then I put the greens in for a couple hours,
Yeah.
then I do vinegar,
Yeah.
and then I cheat and do a little Tabasco.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
My
but
grandmother-
Tabasco, well, like I like Louisiana hot sauce,
Yeah.
but Tabasco has that right amount of
That
vinegar.
taste
Yeah.
on it, Yeah.
And so that's how I do my greens.
I see why you get invited
Uh-huh.
every year.
So she's putting bacon in her greens. Now, I've been eating greens for a long time. Actually, I don't eat greens. Let's go back. My daddy didn't like greens. I don't eat greens because he didn't cook them. But I kind of cook them now because my baby likes to eat them. So she gets her greens. Then she puts bacon in the pot. Then after she puts the bacon in the pot, she puts chopped up garlic in it. And then she puts water. Then she puts chicken stock. And then she makes a roux. And then she puts some chili peppers in it. Then she puts her greens in with some vinegar and some Tabasco sauce. Black folks, we're not eating Tabasco sauce. What is going on here? But you see what happens when we say black is black is black is black? Well, you get these people who try to come and get in our business and they make a fool of themselves. Just like Kamala Harris putting boiled bacon in her greens. Absolutely yuck. Now, not only was that, friends, a sign that she is not a black woman, but she also did an interview this week. And in that interview, they asked her if she was a black woman. And she didn't answer the question. Like, if it was me, P. Ray, and they were like, hey, P. Ray, are you a black woman? I would have been like, yes, I am a black woman. I am 4 Negro grandparents deep, okay? 8th generation American. I eat cornbread and grits for breakfast. Not cornbread and grits together, but I eat cornbread and I also eat grits for breakfast, okay? I am a corn-eating woman from Central Mississippi roots. However, she didn't say any of that. She didn't reference any jerk chicken, rice and peas, nothing. Check this out. Roll tape.
I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump. I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any?
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it. That's all she had to say. Was same old tired playbook. Next question. No, honey. No, 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 no. That was your time to shine as a black woman. You were supposed to talk about holding your ear while you get your hair pressed. But you're not getting your hair pressed. Just like you're not cooking those greens. Just like you're trying to make up all of these things to ingratiate yourself to us. And it's not working. We are not the same, love. We are not the same. Moving on. I also want to talk about a woman named Cherie Peoples. I introduced us to her last week. She is a woman who lives in LA. She has a daughter who has sickle cell, and due to the truancy laws that then the Attorney General of California, Kamala Harris, was implementing, this woman went to jail. Now, we talk about how Kamala locked up black men and she did all these horrible things to black men. However, she also was equally, if not more, harmful to black women and children as the Attorney General of California. And that's why, friends, again, we ain't with her. Roll tape.
Because I have to go to trial for truancy because my daughter has sickle cell and she missed a lot of school. You heard me. Trial. I got arrested for truancy April 18th of 2013. My son's my newborn son at the time, father woke me up after a long night of sleep, of non-sleep, being up with my colicky son. Sheree, somebody at the door for you. And I thought he said the police. You know, when you have sleep half up, you really not paying attention. And I go down the stairs, and to my belief, it was 2 police officers in front of my door. So they said, "Are you Sheree Peoples?" I said, "Yes." And they told me I was under arrest. You know, my face just, it didn't make sense to me. I couldn't put it together in my mind because I know I just had meetings with this school. I know I did. I'm like, I just had a 504 plan. We just had an IEP meeting because they just denied her IEP. And I'm like, can't I just talk to y'all? And I'm thinking, you know, they were there to help me. And he said, "No, Miss Peoples, I have a warrant for your arrest." I said, "So you telling me you're going to put handcuffs on me?" He was like, "Yeah, it's the law." I'm like, okay. So I said, "Can I use the bathroom then?" He was like, "Yeah, you can use the bathroom. Go upstairs." I used the restroom, and all I could think about is like, I don't have no thoughts. I didn't know what to think at that time. All I could do was just shake my head like, oh my God, I'm going to jail. That's all I kept saying. I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. Like, for truancy. I can understand going to jail for something I did. That I stole something or I hurt somebody. I can understand going to jail for that. But going to jail behind something I have no control over, I just couldn't put 2 to 2 together. It just didn't seem right.
You see? You see what's going on? Again, friends, we know that Kamala Harris is not for black women. Is not for black women at all, not even a little bit. And guess what, friends? Not only are black women not with her, but my Donnie did a video for the campaign, and they got black women from around the country, and they put together a video about how black women are not with her. I told them they should make a hashtag, "We ain't with her." When Chicago does our version of this video, that's definitely what our hashtag is going to be. However, they're pushing the narrative that because so many black women are becoming registered voters, this is going to hurt Donald Trump because those women are going to vote for Kamala Harris because she is a black woman. However, we know that that is not true, and all of this voter registration might actually benefit Donald Trump more than we believe. Roll tape.
My name is Jasmine Woodson.
Hi, my name is Silla.
I'm Sharon Watson. I'm Yolanda Johnson from Georgia.
This is BB Diamond from New York City.
I'm Dana Galen, and I'm from Tampa, Florida.
I live in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Out here in Maricopa County.
Kalamazoo County, Michigan.
I am a proud African immigrant
living in Florida.
I'm from the great state of New Jersey.
I'm Angelina from Philly, and this November, I am not voting for Kamala Harris.
I am not voting for Kamala Harris.
I'm not voting for Kamala Harris.
I am not with Kamala Harris.
I am not with her.
I'm not with her. I am not with Kamala Harris.
I'm not with Kamala. I am not for Kamala. I am for Donald Trump.
I am not with Kamala.
I am not with her because she is not with me.
I support President Trump and the economic policies our country experienced under his leadership as our 45th president.
President Trump will support our law enforcement agencies and fund them appropriately.
Donald Trump made me proud to be an American.
I'm with Donald J. Trump.
We need a leader who can make America great again.
Trump puts Americans first, and he always will.
We need Donald Trump.
I and millions of other Black Americans will cast my vote for Donald J. Trump.
I will proudly cast my vote for Donald J. Trump as our next president.
Let's make America great again.
So yes, all black women are not with her. Are not. They are standing up and saying, nope, not us. So shout out to the Black women who were in that video. If you are interested in making a video similar to that, let me know and I will hook you up, okay? Because we are definitely making those videos for ourselves. We want people all to know and understand that we are not with her. Moving on, because I want to get to the callers. 773-345-9977. 773-345-9977. To the callers in the queue, I see you and I will be with you very shortly. Moving on, I want to talk about Colorado right now. So we know that Colorado is a sanctuary state. We also know that the mayor of Denver, Colorado was actually busing illegals from Denver to Chicago because they have run out of room. Where there is a suburb right outside of Denver called Aurora, Colorado. And in Aurora, Colorado, at this very moment, the Venezuelan illegals, a part of a gang called Tren de Arenas, they have taken over an apartment complex. They kicked out the property managers. They're charging their own rent. They have their own security with their own guns. This is a takeover. If Black folks would have done something like this, the United States government would have them all locked up facing RICO charges. When Black folks tried to do something like this in Philadelphia, they got a bomb dropped on them. Literally. And here we are in 2024, and illegals are doing the same thing in Colorado. This is a woman who is a city council member in Colorado speaking on it. Roll tape.
Sure, it's certainly not the whole city.
Right.
So I want to be clear about that. I would say geographically it is sort of isolated to one area right now, but this is a large area. Aurora is a huge city. So when we talk about isolation, this is still very much a large portion of the city. And if this is not addressed, it will continue to spread. I know you've been very vocal about this for a while now. When did you first know that these problems were going on in the community? I first realized about the actual gang takeovers in these apartment complexes about 5 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think maybe people weren't willing to listen initially? Because it does feel like you've got a lot of frustrations in terms of why it took 4 or 5 weeks for people to start to listen, especially once people saw that video.
Right. I think it comes down to, public image. And then I think, politics is very much at play here. But once I, met some folks like the Romeros and some others that I have helped get out of there, these are real human beings on the other side of these doors. And for me, this is not about politics. We have got to get these people out and we have got to address this gang.
So, again, the illegals have taken over and they are moving the Americans out of there in order to keep them safe. So they are literally pushing Americans out of their homes physically through physical violence and intimidation. The mayor of Aurora has stated that he does not want to call it a invasion, so he tries to ignore it as much as he can. However, we also know that the Colorado governor, military, and Colorado Bureau of Investigation, CBI, they are looking to help Colorado or help Aurora when Aurora needs the help, but they are saying that they don't want it. Also, friends, I want to let you know that there is currently a gang war going on the south side of Chicago between the Venezuelans and the American Negro men who live over there in the South Shore area. Just keep an eye open. They are literally shooting at each other down 71st Street right now. So please be careful if you live in the South Shore area. With that being said, let's take a quick call before we get to the budget. Welcome to Black Excellence Hour. Hello?
This is Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
How you doing? Let's go, Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon.
No Brandon no more. No, we can't say that no more. He's not running. So we got to do something. We're going to say, go red.
Go red. That's better. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I want to laugh about this, but I can't laugh about this. But this is the policy that these voters voted Biden in now, and they've been warned. Now, we got a shooting incident going on down there on the south side in the South Shore neighborhood between the Venezuelan gang members and some of the blacks. So, like we say, black folks, this is what you got, who you voted for. You voted Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You voted Brandon Johnson in. And now you re-elected J.G. Pritzker. And neither one of them are not going to do anything to stop it. Because unless we have to take matters in our own hands with our Second Amendment rights, and we need to start calling ICE on them.
Correct.
The police will not cooperate with ICE whatsoever once Trump gets back into office and stuff. So we need to either take matters in our own hands and or call for ICE. So I believe we need to do both. Protect ourselves with guns and call ICE. And then call the funeral director once we put them in the body bag.
I agree. Something has to be done. I mean, this is why we pay federal taxes.
Yes. And this is the most important election in our lives right now, coming up in November and stuff. Forget about everything else. It ain't about Democrat versus Republican. It's about saving our lives right now, not only in the city of Chicago and in the United States. If they take over an apartment complex in Aurora, you think they ain't going to take over these apartment complexes here in the city of Chicago next?
And see, that's what we all know. That's exactly what's coming.
And we're next.
Yes.
We are next, and everybody else is going to start complaining about this, going to City Hall for these city council meetings, and guess what? None of these algorithms are not going to do nothing to help these voters to get these illegal immigrants out, especially the gang members right now.
Correct. Yeah, like I said, something has to give. What'd you say?
Now, what's going to be the worst case scenario while they're here? They're going to take over the apartment complex. Guess what's going to happen? School is already in session. They're going to go and take over the schools next.
I can see that. I can certainly see that. I mean, why wouldn't they? We're in the middle of an invasion. So they've invaded, they've taken over the housing, they're taking over the businesses. Why wouldn't the schools be the next step?
Yeah. And just like last week, when they attacked a CTA worker over there on Alpha Ashland and Lake.
Yeah, they beat the janitors, stomped them out. And then when the Chicago Police Department came, one jumped down and ran across the tracks and got away, but they caught one of them. So even that, so now they're attacking black men at work because that's the same thing that happened to Bobby Booth at the Home Depot. Now we have this gentleman who's just working his city job, trying to clean the station, and he gets jumped on by them. I mean, who protects the black workers?
I think it's time for us to protect ourselves now. And now, I don't know when's the next city council meeting, but now it's time for Brandon Johnson and all these Democratic council members hear what will happen. Because enough is enough right now. And we're not sit up here and P. Wright?
Yes.
Black Chicago. We're not going to take this much longer. We're a different group of people than anybody else here in this country. We're a different type of breed, and we're not going to accept that type of nonsense by these illegal immigrants or these Venezuelan gang members right there. If they put us in a hospital, we put them in a morgue, like they say doing on an Untouchable. So you take one out, we take two of you out.
I agree. Like I said, something has to give, and they're gaslighting us. You know, I saw Brandon yesterday, and he saw me, and he wouldn't even look me in the eye. You know, because they know that they are dead wrong in this instance. Wrong. But they never expected for us to get this angry about it.
Right. And now you got the dumb black liberals who coincide with the white liberals who say, Trump is a racist. Trump is a racist. Okay, then if you want to vote for Kamala Harris, do it. I'm not going to tell you no more than what you need to do. Only thing I can do is be the messenger of God.
Amen.
If you don't hear our message, it's going to fall upon you. And those who still want to vote for Kamala Harris because she want to be the so-called first African American woman to be in office, they don't know what kind of policy she have and stuff because she do a lot of word salad. Like for instance, the reason why we go in space because there's space out there, and now it's very important to look at space. That's how Kamala Harris going to talk. Again, that was this. So when you over here want to vote for the skin color game and stuff, how much of the same skin going to look out for you?
Thank you, Jens.
Thank you.
773-345-9977, 773-345-9977. Hurry up and join the queue. I got to pass the phone on. They said at 8 o'clock for another show that's up here at Intellectual Radio. And shout out to Intellectual Radio. Hey, can somebody tell the people on the chilling circuit, stop playing with me and my name? So many people have come to me and they're like, P-Ray, the redacted station said that you this and you be lying and you be doing this. I don't talk about these people, period. And there is so much to talk about right now that I don't even understand why these people have my name coming out of their bone suckers. I don't get it. I'm not talking about y'all. I'm not thinking about y'all. I'm not doing any of that. They allow people to call up there, besmirch my character. This is nothing but bullying, and that's because they are not winning. We now see that the emperor does not have on any clothes, and we cannot allow these people to continue to narrate our demise. We cannot allow these people to continue to trick us into following a political system that has left us bare. Nothing. Stop listening to them. Stop listening. You can listen for entertainment, but do not listen for knowledge. Nobody is reading. Nobody is researching. They're not. They're just repeating. And then the people, our people, because we look at this as a legitimate news source, we just absorb. And it's nothing but lies. So if y'all want to listen to the lies, fine. But y'all better stop playing with my name, because I told you I'm writing a book. And I'm telling everything that happened. Everything I saw, everything. Everybody's going to find out that the emperor doesn't have on any clothes. I've been nothing but gracious. So please stop playing on my name. There's enough to talk about in America, other than talking about P-Ray and trying to diminish me, because you can't. The people know that I am not a liar. I tell the truth and I research very, very well. Which puts me back to the meat of today's show. Chicago's budget. So as I share with you, let me tell you the whole shebang on how Brandon did this. Brandon gave the budget to the press on Wednesday, and he told them, I'm going to give you this money. I'm going to give you this budget, but I want you to not report on it until tomorrow at 9 a.m. That way the budget came out after the city council meeting, and the members of the city council found out about the budget at the same time that the public found out about it. Everybody was blindsided. What kind of mess is that? I digress. However, we do know that we are now in this budget, and we're going to listen to it, and then I'm going to talk about it a little more. Roll tape.
When it comes to Chicago's finances. Mayor Brandon Johnson says the city's budget gap will grow to nearly $1 billion next year. And now some aldermen say it's time to think about raising property taxes.
This is not just a challenge. This is a fiscal crisis.
Some Chicago City Council members are not happy with Mayor Johnson's recent budget preview that puts the city in a major financial deficit.
I don't think we have a lot of solutions on the table when you have an administration that is pretty much moving more in the expenditure side of things than they are on reducing expenses.
The city is dealing with a budget gap for 2024 that is nearly $225 million, while for 2025, that gap is close to $1 billion. Part of the issue is a pension payment that is the responsibility of Chicago Public Schools, but that sizable cost has fallen on the city.
With CPS, forfeiting their responsibility to provide that $175 million pension payment that now we have to be on the hook for that. It's just a perfect storm of difficult circumstances.
There's this bucket of we ain't got it, right? We don't have the necessary resources to fund the teacher's contract.
CPS is dealing with its own budget issues while trying to settle a new contract with the Chicago Teachers Union. While some city council members say everything needs to be on the table to close this gap, which includes possibly raising property taxes, others feel differently.
I thought the number was going to be a little worse than what it was.
28th Ward Alderman Jason Irvin believes that with some help from the state and others, they should be able to close this gap.
We think CPS needs to do their part. We've got to get some help from the state on a couple of issues, and that would shrink that number down.
Alderman Hopkins says they no longer have access to COVID relief funds.
When it comes.
So, first things first, CPS is creating this. The Chicago Public Schools have to pay $175 million into their pension. However, they said, we ain't paying that. City, y'all gonna pay for it. And because Brandon is in bed with CTU, they said, okay, fine. So now that rests back on our shoulders. They're talking about raising property taxes because we know that we have to pay this, and we have a high vacancy rate with our commercial property around the city, so we will not be getting those commercial property taxes, which then means it's gonna fall back on the taxpayers, meaning the homeowners and the landlords and the people who are paying rent. We also know that they have never, not one time, mentioned cutting the illegal immigration money. Lord have mercy. What kind of mess is this? Why is it that property taxes are on the table, but the illegals are not? They don't vote. They don't pay taxes. They don't do anything but suck up the tax money. And now we are $225 million short for this year. Remember, we spent $400 million on them. So had we not spent that money on them, we would have been 165 in the green. However, because of the piss poor fiscal management that is coming out of the Irving household, Lord have mercy. We got Jason Irvin, who is the budget chair, and we have his wife, Melissa Conyers Irvin, who is the treasurer. So the whole purse for the city of Chicago is over there on Jackson in their house. And we're not talking about cutting illegals? How is this not priority number one? But before we go any deeper, we're going to listen to this other perspective. This actually comes from the 2020 budget when they were talking about us also 4 years ago having this gap. And this was before COVID spending was even involved. Okay, so we're going to talk about, we can blame it on COVID, blah, 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 blah. But this has absolutely nothing to do with COVID, but more so with the fact that they are not investing in Black Chicago, and they have been purposely trying to push us out the way. Roll tape.
Treasurer's office launched a new initiative called Black Houses Matter. The goal is to locate Black homeowners and inform them of their property tax status so their homes don't end up being sold. Thousands of homeowners across Cook County could be in jeopardy of losing their homes due to delinquent property taxes. These homes are placed on the county's tax sale list, from which properties can be sold to tax buyers, oftentimes big hedge funds and corporations. Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas says she's made it her mission to prevent this from happening.
We need to keep people in their homes. If you don't have a home, if you don't have a house, you don't have a life.
Pappas says one of the most disturbing revelations of this list was the clear racial disparity within Cook County. Of the 38,000 homes on the tax sale list, nearly 75% are in Black communities. And that's why Pappas says she launched Black Houses Matter. She says the purpose is to help Black homeowners catch up on their property taxes while the tax sale list is postponed due to COVID-19.
So we have all this extra time right now where we're hunting down people who are on the list.
She provided us with a better breakdown of the tax sale list and which communities are hurting the most.
Nobody's reporting these discrepancies. Nobody. Look at this. Look at my African-American suburbs.
In Chicago Heights, more than 2,000 homes have been placed on the tax sale list. In Harvey, more than 4,000 homes. Compare that to the northwest suburb of Niles, with only 21 homes on the list.
Clearly, this is something that we need to address.
Harvey Alderman Dominique Randall L. says educating residents in Black communities about
So we're going to cut that off. It has nothing to do with education. All of those people that they just talked about in those south suburbs on the tax list, those people are going back into chaos because now their property taxes are going up because we have these huge budget deficits. So the suburban people are not going to be affected by Chicago, but they're definitely going to be affected by the budget deficit that's going to be in Cook County and the one in the state of Illinois. Again, friends, we have to get away from them. Lord have mercy. I don't even understand how this is still a conversation in 2024. I don't understand how anybody, anywhere, would be okay with the fact that they are openly disrespecting us like this. And they expect for us to go along with the play. I don't understand. I really do not understand. But what I do understand is that the Democratic Party has put a lot of money around the city of Chicago with influencers and through Black media to lull us back into a situation that is not going to serve us well. It is time to put your gym shoes on, tie them up real tight, and run to the right. Because again, friends, if we do not get this together and get this correct in 2024, I promise you, Black Chicago will not exist in 2026. It is not. We're going to be taxed out of our homes. We're going to be terrorized out of our homes. We're going to be germed out of our homes because remember, CPS is now open, which means that it's a whole bunch of germs circulating at this very moment. Okay? This is not a game. This is not a joke. This is not a funny. This is not P-Ray trying to scare people or be xenophobic. It is Americans versus everybody else. Which brings me to this point. A woman from Chinatown contacted me. And she's like, hey, P-Ray, I think you're the coolest lady ever. And I'm like, thank you, girl. And she's like, listen, we want to host a Trump rally in Chinatown. I said, girl, what? She said, yes, we want Chicago Red to come with y'all flags to Chinatown. And we want to invite the Hispanic community. We want to invite ethnic European communities. We want to make this an ethnic Americans for Trump rally. They want to write their Trump rallies in different languages, or excuse me, their Trump signs in different languages. So we all know and understand that we're moving on. We're not listening to these polls anymore. We're not listening to the weirdos who like to tell us that we are bad people or we're not being humanist and all this other kind of weird, chaotic kind of stuff they like to push on us. No, we're not going for it anymore, my friends. Property taxes are going up. Next year, the city of Chicago is going to be almost $1 billion short. And they are not telling you this because they are paid to not tell you this. Instead, they want to talk about the Central Park 5, which does not have anything to do with anybody in Cook County. They want to talk to you about Stormy Daniels. Again, not our business. They want to talk to you about, the cases and the trials. Nobody cares. What we need to be focused on are our property taxes. What you need to be doing is locking your front and back doors and making sure that your windows are down. Because we also have seen videos and instances of people coming home and these illegals are sleeping on their couches. What? Do you know what will happen if I come home and I find somebody sleep on my couch? I'm going to think that you're a burglar and you're going to get some lead. Period. I mean, not that I'm the toughest woman in the world, but you cannot come in my house like that. But this is what's happening because our elected officials are acting too afraid to stand up to them. And this past week in California, they passed a bill to give illegals $150,000 in home ownership down payments, 0% interest, really favorable terms. However, when Black people asked them to bring the reparations bill to the floor, a Republican had to do it. His name is S.C. Ali, Mr. S-A-I-E. I don't know how to say it. I can just spell it. It's like S.A. with Lee, so S.A. Lee. Maybe that's it. I digress. He is a white Republican, and he brought the bill to the floor because he said while he does not agree with reparations, he does agree that something has to be done in order to rectify the harm that was caused during Jim Crow. So he wanted to push that. Y'all know who messed it up? Black Democrats. Black Democrats prevented the reparations bill from going to the floor and instead pushed for money for illegals, which is why all skin folks are not kin folks. We are not voting for somebody because they are Black or Black adjacent. No, 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 no. We cannot do that anymore. We must vote based on policy. And if you are a one issue voter, that's fine. A lot of people say, oh, well, P-Ray, I just think that they talk too much about the illegals and we could talk about something else. No, we have nothing else to talk about at this time. Nothing but the illegals. That's it. They have to go and they are going to leave because Black Chicago, along with Chinese Chicago, along with Mexican Chicago, along with Puerto Rican Chicago, along with Irish Chicago, Italian Chicago, Polish Chicago, Ukrainian Chicago, Armenian Chicago, all of the groups that I just named, all of these people have hit me up. They have their own groups and they are saying that Chicago is going red and that they're going to help us. So with that being said, the closer that we get to the election, the more that the attacks on the people who are pushing the movement, such as myself, are going to increase. They're going to start talking under my clothes more, which, by the way, I'm handling this week because, as I said, gentlemen, I'm done being sexually harassed and y'all thought I was playing. So now I got to show y'all that I'm a woman for real. That's an inside joke for the people on the inside. Not an inside joke, but an inside statement. We are also going to see that there might be an increased level of violence. Okay, because again, these people are so used to coming and intimidating people politically that they think that they are going to push us around and tell us what to do. Yesterday, when I saw the mayor at the back to school parade, I took a little selfie with him standing behind me and we were out there doing our thing. Well, this morning, the Chicago Police Department was on my block ticketing cars. Every time I do something in public, here comes the Chicago Police Department on my block to give people tickets. But luckily for them, and thank God for Mama, we have a garage, so but I digress again. I say all of that to say that we are doing the work. We are winning. They are making it easier and easier and easier for us every single day with Chicago Red, with the conservative movement, with the MAGA movement. We are what is we are what's driving right now this political movement. Don't listen to what people tell you about other people unless you see a tape or a child that is they're lying. Know that people are not getting paid to sit up and lie to us. Okay, that's lame. There's no reason for us to sit around and lie and pretend and waste our time and try to trick people into situations that they don't want to be in. No. We have made up our minds that we are just as intelligent as these people, if not more intelligent, that we understand what's going on, just like they are trying to pretend like we don't. And again, the fact that the fact that Brandon Johnson held on to that budget and did not show it to the city council and made the media sit on it overnight is showing you that he knows that he is shame. He has shame in his bones. Shout out to Miss Jessica Jackson. Hey, Miss Jessica. But with that being said, we just know what's going on, and the emperor doesn't have on any clothes. We see that we're looking at a big old ashy booty, and don't nobody want to see Brandon ass. Okay, no. He cannot trick us anymore. The people at the redacted spot cannot trick us anymore. We're not going to allow this. We don't have to take this. And I encourage you, when you hear people calling out lies, call them right there and say, you lying. Black folks not going for this. No, stop trying to make this some type of racial thing, because race is dead, y'all. The American Negro cannot afford to go with her, literally. We cannot afford to be with her. The American Negro cannot afford open borders, because they're coming to our communities to treat us like they treat the black people in their country, like trash. Look at how black people are treated south of the border. They're bringing those same mentalities up here, and they want to intimidate us. They are coming from third world countries where chaos is the way of living. People got guns, they shooting at police. So now the police across the nation have gotten to notice that these gangs don't mind shooting at police, and so they have to be careful outside. What? Again, we deserve better than this, and we're going to get it. We're getting it right now. So just know, trust, and believe that the Lord is with us. The Lord our God is with us. He is walking with us. This is why, although we are making a big move, it really hasn't been that difficult. Aside from, like I said, people just doing little things and saying little things about me. I'm like, why am I in your mouth? I ain't talking about you. You're not that important. And then also when people are like, well, P-Ray is lying. First off, everybody knows that P-Ray doesn't lie. But beyond that, who the hell do people think that they are, that I'm going to catch a sin for telling them a lie? Why lie to you? Who are you to lie to? You are not important enough for me to catch a sin and have to go explain that to the Lord. We're not doing that, people. We're going to tell each other the truth. From now, we got 67 days until the election. For the next 67 days, we gotta just keep encouraging each other. Courage is contagious. There are lots of people who have made their minds up about being in the MAGA movement, and they know and understand what we have to do and how we have to do it and how it must be done. This is not a game. This is not an aha. This is not a funny. This is nobody clout chasing. This is none of that other than us trying to preserve the neighborhoods that we grew up in. But we have people who are pushing against us. We have people who are not from the city of Chicago but think that they have the ability to come boss us because they think that we're a bunch of dumb niggas, and we're not. We're not. I just had to tell my neighbor this at the end of the block. Lord bless her heart. Lord bless her. She is a queer minister, a queer Methodist minister who is with her, and she wanted to try to get into this little fisticuff with me about liking Donnie, and I told her, ma'am, I'm not doing that with you. You like who you like, I like who I like. We don't have to go back and forth about it, because I'm gonna keep on liking who I like and doing what I want to do, and that's it. So don't argue, don't fight, don't fuss, don't do anything. Just keep on encouraging our people. Let the people know that you're talking to this week that MAGA means make America great again. That means putting Americans first. And ask them, ain't you an American? They gonna say, yeah, I'm an American. Unlike Kamala, who did not say, yeah, I'm black. I digress. So when you ask them, ain't you American? They're gonna say, yeah, I'm American. And then you say, well, he's talking about you. He's talking about me. He's talking about your family, your neighborhood, your friends, our people. He's talking about us. Remove Donald Trump completely from the stage and look at him as a vessel to put American people first. That's what we're looking for, people. That's what we need. If we do not put the American people first, I promise you, they have a place for us, and that's outside of this city. Look at LA. LA has less than a 10% black population because they were overran by illegal immigration, and then those people began to terrorize those black people. The same thing is happening right now in the city of Chicago, but we are not finding out about it, except for those boys over there on South Shore. Oh, baby, they're not playing no games. Lord bless the babies and all the soldiers of Chirac. You know, someone was telling me the other day, they're like, oh, these guys, they have guns. and they have all this military grade weaponry and blah 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 blah. And I said, don't talk about them, because that is our first line of defense from the Venezuelans. They're the first line. So regardless of how you think of them, gangbangers, thugs, or whatever, when it goes down, those will be the guys out there shooting and doing what they have to do, and not these sassy brunch boot, tailor pants, black rim glasses men. They're not doing it. Those will not be the men that are going to go fight. Those are not the men who are going to throw bricks. Those are not the men who are going to throw rocks. This is why P. Ray has been saying for years now, we got to get rid of the sassy men because they are worthless. We're about to find out how worthless the sassies are, because we are about to be engaged in real life guerrilla warfare, and we got grown men out here saying, I don't carry guns. I don't like guns. Oh, you better get you one or two. This is, again, friends, is not a game. With all of that being said, we're coming to the end of the show. And again, I thank you so much for hanging out with me. Know that every week on Thursday night, Chicago Red meets at 5834 West Augusta. We are serious about the work that needs to be done. This, again, is not a way people say, oh, they just doing this to clout chase. Who needs to clout chase when they're trying to save their own communities, their own neighborhoods, trying to preserve things for themselves? The only people who need that are the people who have been getting paid on the other side to sell us out. The people who have, from the beginning, been telling us that where they have told us to go is best for us, and now we see that this is not true. So with that being said, the music is playing, and that means that we are at the end of Black Excellence Hour, and as always, I truly appreciate the company. I invite everybody to go Wednesday, if you can, to City Hall and put your name in the box and go up there and say to the mayor, I know you lying. I know that you're not about to spend us $1 billion in the hole for the illegals when these people are attacking, maligning, from sea to shining sea. We don't pay taxes for this, and we deserve better. This is P. Ray of Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self-esteem. As always, I appreciate the company. I hope that you can pop out to one of my meetings, because, oh baby, the plan is working, and it is working well. Shout out to Chinatown. Y'all, we are on our way. Chicago is turning red. One meeting, one handshake, one friendly face at a time, because Americans know what Americans need. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in a little while. Ciao. Mwah. Oh, we're done.